Hello and welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are so inclined. In today's video, we're taking a look at this. It's the Aerox 3 wireless, ultra lightweight gaming mouse from SteelSeries. Now they do say it's from the makers of the best gaming mouse, which means this is not the best gaming mouse, but it does also say on the back that it's built for performance, streamlined for speed. So, well, with marketing like that, let's check it out. So what's in the box with this ultra lightweight gaming mouse from SteelSeries? Well, first and foremost, we have this, the Type-C charging cable. And it's not just a charging cable, you can use it just to use the mouse as normal, and it's very nice. It's braided and it's Type-C. Have I mentioned it's Type-C? Well done, SteelSeries. Fast charging and all of that good stuff. Now this is quite a long cable, and it does come with its own cable management bit of Velcro, which is always a nice add-on. Now, the length of this is fine. You're not going to need anything longer than that for your mouse. Now, one of the other reasons for this cable, and one of the reasons it's very good, is because this is the Wi-Fi receiver, the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi receiver to be precise, which also works with Bluetooth, but we'll get onto that. Now this is a Type-C connector, which for most laptops will be totally fine. Most laptops have a Type-C connector. However, on some PCs you may not, which is where SteelSeries have included this handy-dandy little receiver. Now both sides of this are Type-C. You simply connect the receiver into one side, and then the Type-C from the charging cable into the other, and then that will work as your receiver for the Wi-Fi, which is very, very good. I was very impressed with that. More so because when you do run out of charge, which you don't very rapidly with this, you can simply quickly disconnect this and then plug the mouse into the cable, and it's fantastic. It's, like I said, the cable is braided. It doesn't snag. You get lots of nice play with the mouse. There's no issues, and sometimes I forget that I'm actually been charging the mouse and I just leave the cable in for sometimes over a week at a time before I'd realised. But it's all very good. Everything about this feels quite well built in terms of the accessories and things that come with it, but it's a very nice mouse. I like this. I think this is a very good idea from SteelSeries, and I'm very impressed that finally we're moving towards the age of Type-C connectors. Now, like I said, this does do fast charging. You do get up to 20 odd or 40 odd hours, they say, of actual use from this mouse. I didn't find that myself. I play a lot of Warzone, so I am frantically moving the mouse quite a lot, and I got about maybe 25 hours in terms of game time, but I didn't power the mouse off. That should be said. I didn't actually turn it off at the back. So 40 hours is probable. Now, if you use Bluetooth, for instance, now you can't game with that, I accept, but if you're on the move and doing a bit of productivity work, you will get a couple of hundred hours of battery life from this itself, which is remarkably good. I'll give SteelSeries that. If you are just on the go, I'm not sure why you'd use a mouse of this size, however, if you were on the go, but there we are. Anyway, moving on. So in terms of the build quality of this mouse, now, like all things SteelSeries, it's a very strong, rugged black plastic that this has been made from. Now, although I say it's plastic, it doesn't sound too bad, and the obvious design feature of this is all of the holes. Now, these aren't honeycomb. However, I have seen people say that, but it's not. It's just a grid, an angled grid, if anything, and that honeycomb does stretch across to the underside of the mouse as well, and over the top of each of the buttons. Now, you'd think that this makes it feel quite weak, but honestly it doesn't. It feels very, very strong. It feels very robust. Now, I did worry about the holes on the top side for moisture or just dust ingress, but this is IP54 rated, and honestly, after a couple of weeks use, I definitely do have dust build up on the inside. However, I've had no issues with the mouse at all. Now, some people may think that the holes in the top of the mouse are there to aid with cooling. I assure you it's not. It's simply to save weight. This mouse does come in, what SteelSeries say, at 66 grams. However, this unit did come in at 67, which at that point could just be tolerances within the scales themselves, so I'm not going to argue the 66 grams. However, that's all that these holes are there for. Now, if you are a particularly sweaty person, your palms will still sweat with this. That's just how it happens. However, you don't need to worry about that moisture getting in onto the components, because the components themselves are housed. They are covered, which is what gives it that IP54 rating. Now, the size of the mouse, it's kind of a medium to large size. Now, I came from using Logitech mice, which are a completely different shape to this, so the shape did feel unusual. The crest, or the apex, I suppose, of the mouse itself is just behind the center point. Now, that lined up perfectly with the underside of my knuckles, which isn't necessarily a good thing. I don't claw grip a mouse. I tend to just lazy my hand over the top, but I have very little issue with my thumb or little finger actually touching the mouse mat itself. In terms of the glide, it's fairly standard. There's nothing there that really stands out. Now, the actual glide pads themselves on the underside are circular, which I'm guessing is just to reduce the amount of friction and resistance that comes with that on the mouse mat itself. The weight is what gives it a bit more freedom, but had they have spent a bit more money on the actual glide paths themselves. This could have felt like a much lighter mouse. However, had they have done that, that would have increased the cost. Now, I haven't mentioned the price of this mouse just yet, but I will now. It comes in at £99 or $99 US, which isn't bad. This is a top tier wireless gaming mouse. Now, other than the Model O, you're looking at around $150 to get anywhere near to the quality of this. Now, the test of time will be the main factor, I'm sure, with all of these mice, but so far, after 9 weeks of use, since I gotten used to the shape of the mouse itself, I've become very impressed with it. I like using it. The only issue I've found so far from actual use is when the battery dies. There's very little warning. There's nothing that comes up on the screen. You get flashes of light on the underside of this, which, as I'll show when we go over the software, the lights turn off when you're not using it. And either way, you get a bit of a flash of white light at the bottom to let you know that you're running out of charge. However, when you're watching the screen, you tend not to notice that. The mouse feels rugged. It feels kind of strong. I like that you can see the components. I'm sure somewhere down the line, SteelSeries will make this on the inside look a lot prettier, but I kind of like it. I kind of like how robust and rugged it looks on the inside. And like I say, it is IP54 rated, so happy days to that. But it's a nice mouse. The design itself is ambidextrous. However, it's not an ambidextrous mouse. The side buttons are only on the left-hand side, and they do feel kind of rugged. They're kind of nice and tactile clicks across all of the buttons. There's quite a nice bit of travel. Not too much, and it's not too shallow. It feels just good. It does take a bit of getting used to from a different mouse, of course, but once you're there, it feels very good. The wheel has great travel, and there's no momentum build-up. You don't feel that the wheel is accelerating under your finger. It's just one uniform speed the entire time. And the polling rate of this mouse does go up to around 1000 Hertz, which is many. For that many signals to be sent back to your computer in a second. They're not uniform, don't get me wrong, but that's a lot. So that's a lot of accuracy. I tend to max it out, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I do. Why not? If I have it and not use it, is what I always say. But I'm quite happy with this mouse.
So here we are in the SteelSeries engine software for the Aerox 3. Now, I do recommend you get this software if you're using PC or Mac, just to get the firmware of the mouse updated. It does make for a much better user experience. Anyway, moving on, we'll have a quick look at the illumination settings. Now, there are 3 separate illumination zones for this mouse, so you can have the colours set however you want. Should you choose to do that, you can change the actual overall settings themselves between active and reactive. Now, there are kind of some cool settings you can put in, but it is also kind of limited, which is annoying, so to speak, because I don't actually dislike the RGB on this mouse, which is unusual for me. But there is one more RGB setting in this, which is here, the illumination smart mode. Now, what this does is when you move the mouse, the actual RGB itself turns off completely. The mouse just goes dark. The moment you let go, the mouse light turns on again, which I think is a very good feature, just to stretch out that battery life a little bit more. Now, over here on the right hand side, you've got different sensitivity levels for the actual mouse itself, and there are different presets. You can just click the button on the top of the mouse located just here, and it will cycle between these presets. There's also down here your polling rate. Now, as I said in the video, have it at 1000. If you can have 1000, then why not use it? I don't personally have any of these weird angle snapping things on. I do a lot of gaming, and I kind of like my own control over the mouse itself. And there's also high efficiency mode, which if you're using the mouse for gaming, I wouldn't recommend it. It just to drag out the actual life, which means there's less power going to the components that require it. And there is a sleep timer. Now, this by default is set at 1 minute. Now, I would change that. It does get rather irritating. You do have to, in fact, click the button on the mouse to wake it up. You can't just move it like you can with other high-end brands. On the left-hand side, there are different configurations that you can do. You can change the button layout. I just have mine at whatever it started with. It's the most normal one, and you can actually make macros for the mouse itself. There is also this Bluetooth setting. As I mentioned in the video, you can get up to 200 hours use when you're using Bluetooth on the mouse. Now, I definitely wouldn't recommend Bluetooth for gaming. However, it's very good if you're on the move and you need something that's going to last. It's very, very useful indeed. But there we are. There's pretty much the settings for the mouse itself, but it's all kind of cool. I like that you've got control over this. I like that you can change different things. I like that you can have the Bluetooth mode. I think it's all very, very good.
So in conclusion, do I feel that this mouse is worth the money? I do. I think coming in at 99 US or 100 UK pounds, I think this is a very, very good buy. I think the quality of this is good. It's lightweight, coming in at 66 grams. The sensor, which is a True Air Move or True Move Air sensor from SteelSeries, is more than enough. It does the job perfectly well. You get 1000 Hertz polling rate, all very nice. The shape does take a bit of getting used to, but once you do, it's fantastic. I think the button clicks are very good and robust. I like it. I think this is a very, very good steal, especially when you look at the offerings from Razer and Logitech and realise they're 50% more expensive than this, when I don't really feel there's that much difference in quality at that range. But yeah, this is a fantastic mouse from SteelSeries. I'm very impressed. I like the way they put it together. I like the design. I think they've done well. As I said earlier, time will tell with this. We don't know. After a year or so, will this mouse go bad? Will the actual glide pads start to wear down? All of this are things that we don't know. I can only review on what I feel right now. And I like this mouse. I think it's a very, very good mouse for $100. I think that it's wireless is very good. And the fact that you can't tell the difference between using the wire or having it wireless is testament to SteelSeries' work here. I just wish they'd stop with the stupid marketing that says it's from the makers of the best gaming mouse. Great, good for you, SteelSeries. Let the products market themselves. It will work, I assure you. But anyway, there we are. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you did like the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. There will be a link to this in the description if you choose to buy it. If you do use my Amazon affiliate link, I will earn a bit of money, but it will go back into the channel. I need to tell you that for legal and such. But there we are. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, noon, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.